Have you ever picked up a book, expecting just another return to a familiar world, and instead found yourself questioning the world you live in today? That's exactly what happened to me with Sunrise on the Reaping, Suzanne Collins' newest addition to the Hunger Games universe. This is not simply another story of survival in the arena. It's a story about systems, about control, about the slow, quiet ways that oppression becomes invisible and accepted. Today, we're diving deep into why Sunrise on the Reaping is not just a welcome return to Panem, but one of Suzanne Collins' most sobering and timely books yet. What the book offers. Sunrise on the Reaping is set decades before the events of the Hunger Games. At its center is a brand new protagonist, one who isn't a revolutionary or a rebel in the beginning, but an ordinary citizen caught in the currents of a deeply broken society. This time, Collins pulls back the curtain. We don't just see the brutality of the Hunger Games, we see how they are maintained, how the Capitol engineers fear, how the districts are kept divided, and how apathy is weaponized against resistance. The book offers rich political world building. We dive deeper into Panem's political structure, including how the games function as more than punishment. They are social control disguised as tradition. Complex character development. Our protagonist isn't flawless. They make mistakes. They doubt themselves. They survive not through heroism, but often through choices that haunt them. Themes of propaganda and manipulation. Collins explores how media, language, and rituals are used to strip people of hope without them even realizing it. Expanded lore. Fans hungry for more about the early history of Panem will find layers of new details about the Capitol's grip, the district's suffering, and the slow brewing of unrest. This isn't just an action story, it's a psychological deep dive into how totalitarianism thrives. Criticism and limitations. Now, as good as the book is, it's important to recognize its shortcomings because they are noticeable. First, the pacing is slow, especially in the first half. Collins spends a lot of time building tension, establishing politics, and showing life in the districts. While this slow build pays off later, it demands patience. Readers expecting immediate action might find the first few chapters dense and heavy. Second, the emotional attachment to the protagonist can feel weaker compared to Katniss in the original trilogy. This new character is fascinating intellectually, but emotionally, they sometimes feel distant. It's clear that Collins wanted a more subtle, morally gray figure this time around, but it comes at the cost of some immediate emotional engagement. Third, while the games themselves introduce some clever new elements, the structure still feels familiar. It's hard to create fresh shock when readers already know the brutal rules of the arena. There are moments where the story feels like it's retracing old steps, even with a new face leading it. Finally, the book is less fun than previous installments. It's heavier, it's angrier, it's quieter in some ways. And that's a strength but also a limitation if someone is looking purely for thrilling, escapist storytelling. Commentary. That being said, when you step back and look at what Sunrise on the Reaping actually achieves, it's clear that Suzanne Collins is doing something deliberate and important. This book isn't trying to entertain you with clever kills in the arena. It's trying to make you think about the systems around you today. It draws chilling parallels between Panem and our world about how media can blind us, about how injustice becomes normalized, and about how power can twist even well-meaning people into participants of cruelty. Collins masterfully shows how small acts of compromise, looking away, staying silent, choosing safety over justice, eventually build a society where real rebellion feels impossible. And, perhaps most disturbingly, she shows how ordinary people come to accept the unacceptable when it's packaged in ceremony, tradition, and fear. It's easy to look at the Capitol and feel disgust. It's much harder and much more necessary to recognize that Panem's descent wasn't one catastrophic event. It was thousands of small decisions, made by people who convinced themselves they had no choice. That is what makes Sunrise on the Reaping resonate long after you put it down. It challenges you to ask yourself, what am I accepting today that future generations will find monstrous? Final thoughts. In the end, Sunrise on the Reaping is not just another Hunger Games novel. It's a haunting, mature, and deeply thoughtful exploration of how fear, power, and control shape societies over time. It's slower, it's heavier, but it's also smarter, braver, and more relevant than ever. If you are willing to sit with the discomfort, if you're willing to trade immediate thrills for slow-burning, profound reflection, then Sunrise on the Reaping is absolutely worth your time. Suzanne Collins has once again proven that dystopia is not just about far-off futures. It's about choices happening around us right now. And as the title suggests, the real question is not about surviving the games. It's about whether we can stop the reaping before it begins. Thank you for listening.